Hello, I'm Dr. Palumbo. In this video I'd like to discuss those tax returns that might be required when a person passes away. Now I know from my years in public practice and from my years of teaching taxes, this is an area that not only accounting students get confused about, but everyday people get confused about. What is it that I need to file? So we're going to talk about that today. I found out that by putting this little schematic on the board, it seemed to help people get the whole idea, the light bulbs go off over the top of their heads. So hopefully that'll happen to you this afternoon or this evening, whenever you're watching this video. So without any further discussion, let's go to the board. Okay, I hope you can all see the board okay this way. The first thing I like to do when we're talking about this death taxes is I like to set up a little timeline. And this is our calendar year. This would be January 1st. This would be 12/31. Now, we have a person, John Doe, Jane Doe. We'll just call him J Doe. They'll take care of any gender issues. So our person, J Doe, is going along in life, and now they pass away. So the actual date that they passed away is not that important right now for our discussion. So we'll bring it over here, and let's say they pass away on May 15th. Okay. And so that becomes date of death. Now a couple of things happen on the date of death. First of all, obviously, J Doe ceases to be in existence. And starting here, the next day, is a new entity called the estate of J Doe. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the first thing that might happen is we need to take a look at, do they have any assets? Would they be eligible or required to file an estate tax return? The estate tax return is a form 706, and that's going to take all the assets, subtract out liabilities and things like that, and figure out a tax. A tax that's due based on what was that person's worth was at this point. Now, it's a pretty high number. For 2015, it was, let's put this over here, $5,430,000. So not a whole lot of people are going to get trapped in that estate tax. I think the number I heard was about 0.2% was going to have to pay it. But still, you need to check that. And if they have a farm or a ranch or a family business, it's not too hard to get up to that number. The 706 is going to be due, let's see if we can do this in yellow, out here somewhere. Nine months after the date of death. So you've got some time to file that. As with most IRS forms, if you cannot file by that date, 9 months after the date of death, you can always get an extension. Now, it's an extension to file, not an extension to pay, so you'd have to send some money to the IRS with that. So that's the first thing that's going to happen. And again, probably not, except in that case about 0.2% of the population. The next thing that's going to happen, and this is the easy part, is for this period here, from January 1st to May 15th, J Doe was alive and well and would presume earning some money. Maybe they were working, maybe they were collecting a salary, maybe they were getting a pension, dividends, interest, things like that. So we need to file for this period Form 1040. And we all know when 1040s are due. Let's see, I'll go this way. April 15th of the next year. That's a little sloppy 15, but I think you get it. So that hasn't changed. So whatever they have earned from January 1st until date of death on May 15th will be in on this final return. Okay. So now we got 2 out of 3. There's a third one. And what happens with the third one is right here we have now the estate of J Doe. A new entity, they need to file for a federal identification number, with the IRS. And while you are administering the estate, I say you as if you were the executor or executrix, while the estate is being administered, it's earning money. You might be selling property, putting that money into some kind of account, whatever, but it's earning money, and this estate of J. Doe may need to file a Form 1041 when that interest starts, interest, dividends, things like that, start to get up to, it's a couple $100 right now. When does that due? Well, that depends, because you get to pick the year end. So now you might say, okay, I'm going to pick April 30th, so this would run from May 15th of this year to April 30th of the next year, and hopefully within that 1 year time period you would get the estate settled, closed out. You only need to file one Form 1041. If it's a big estate, or if they've got assets like real estate or closely held businesses, it might take them a little while to settle this estate. So you might be filing a 1041 for that estate for a couple of years. So that's, in a nutshell, what needs to be done. We've got 3 returns, possible returns. 1 is a 706, 2 would be the final 1040, and 3, if any income is earned by the estate, which is a separate entity than what John or Jane Doe were when they were alive, you may need to file a Form 1041. Now, these 706 and 1041, these are not for the weaklings. These are complicated, tough returns, and although we're talking $5,430,000 today, we don't know what that's going to be. It used to be $300,000 when I started in this business. Could it go down? I don't know. Congress might decide to put it down. So what I would suggest is, if at the date of death, as soon thereafter, you get yourself some good professional advice on and figure out what is the dollar amounts when this person passes away. Let them help you get an identification number if there's an estate that needs to be settled, that sort of stuff. So we've got 1, 2, 3 possible returns. I say possible because if you don't have that $5,430,000 in 2015, you don't need a 706. If this person was not working or was not collecting money, they might very well be still under the filing threshold, so they might not have to file that. And if they have no assets, then there's probably no 1041 that's going to be filed. So I say maybe, because all of these have different filing requirements. I think that's enough for our discussion at this point. Hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave me a comment. And thanks for tuning in and viewing the video.